edition of Service News, a special feature on training. And we'll shed some light on the dim-dip headlamp system. Hello and a warm welcome to Service News. Back in January this year, you may have tuned in to the Channel 4 Consumer Affair programme For What It's Worth. The programme featured an item relating to the dangers of skin disorders which could arise through contact with used engine oils. Motor manufacturers and oil producers were criticised for not printing sufficient warnings in product literature and on containers about the possible risk of skin cancer. Austin Rover have always had a very strict policy on warnings printed in both garage and customer literature relating to contact with dangerous substances. Marius Hart of Austin Rover Service was interviewed on the For What It's Worth programme about this. Here's what he had to say.
Well, at Austin Rover, we've been aware of this problem for some time now. From the mechanic's point of view, we ensure that they wear barrier creams before they start commencing work on cars, and that they have antiseptic hand cleaners for particularly washing up at the end of the day. They're also required to wear clean overalls, inasmuch that the overalls must be laundered regularly so they're not impregnated with oil. And at the same time, we ensure that they use disposable hand wipes, so they're not using hand wipes which are impregnated with oil again. Important
words there for everyone to remember. To reiterate Marius's comments, always use a barrier cream before starting any work on a car. Use an antiseptic hand cleaner to wash your hands at the end of the working day. Always make sure your overalls are clean. And use disposable wipes for your hands. A new Act of Parliament came into effect in March this year, which, amongst other things, changes the present law relating to product liability. Austin Rover have produced a video entitled No Hiding Place, explaining how the new Act affects everyone in the dealer network. What it boils down to is that if a serious fault on any product, such as a motor car, causes any injury or damage, someone somewhere down the line is responsible. It could be the manufacturer, the component supplier, the dealer, or even you as an individual. Now the burden is no longer on the customer to prove negligence. As long as an accident or injury occurred as a direct result of the defective work or article, the customer will receive damages. So watch that video carefully. Make sure you understand how the new law affects you.
The information sheet Service Receptionist News was launched last year, and so far it's been very successful. Brian Jones, the editor, would like to thank all those who have telephoned and written in with their views on the sheet, and he also reminds you that any tips and ideas from receptionists are always welcome. Amongst other topics, Receptionist News brought you information on the Service Receptionist of the Year competition organised by Austin Rover last year. This year, Motor Trader newspaper, in conjunction with Car Care Plan, are running a similar contest, Service Receptionist of Great Britain. The prizes on offer are really something special. For the winner, there's a 7-day holiday in Hong Kong plus £500 spending money. Second prize is 7 days in Mallorca plus £200. And third prize, a long weekend in Monte Carlo plus £100. No matter who wins the national competition, Austin Rover will reward its own high-scoring participants. Application details are currently being finalised. As soon as they're available, you'll find them in Service Receptionist News. Another competition, Garage of the Year, is also being run this year by Garage News. Again, this is a multi-franchise competition, which will be judged by independent assessors. The winning garage will receive both regional and national media coverage, plus a trophy and attractive prizes. Application forms have been sent out to all dealers, which should be returned to Garage News by April the 5th. We'll bring you the results of both the competitions nearer the time. There's a new development of the View data system due to come online in April. At the beginning of the month, there'll be a full index of technical bulletins available on screen, drawing attention to the red-hot matters of the day. Later in April, you'll be able to access the text of the latest bulletins as soon as they're written. This saves the initial delay of printing and delivery. The information goes out immediately. The text will be available on View data for about a month until the bulletins are printed and sent out in the normal way. The system also has a new menu for each car model, so you can easily check the bulletin number of any repair and then use the normal bulletin issues for full details of the procedure. This makes it quicker and easier to find the right bulletin for the job you're doing. The new sidelight legislation brought in last year has been causing some confusion among owners of the new cars. As you're probably aware, all vehicles registered from the 1st of April 1987 are fitted with a dim-dip lighting system. This ensures that the vehicles cannot be driven with only the side lights illuminated. We'll run quickly through the system. If the side lights are switched on with the ignition off, the side lights will illuminate on their own as usual. However, when the side lights are switched on with the ignition on, the headlight dip beams also illuminate, but at a reduced intensity. Operation of the headlights themselves remains the same. Once switched on, both main and dip beams illuminate at their normal intensity. So if a customer does ask you about dim dip, explain briefly how the system works and refer him to the lighting section in the vehicle handbook. Make sure he realizes that the dim dip function is only an addition to the side lights and not a substitute for headlamps. This is particularly relevant for daytime use of headlamps during rain, snow or fog. Rover 820E and SE models are available with automatic transmission as an optional extra. Some customers may be concerned about excessive up and down shifts between third and fourth gears during town driving when using the drive position. D3 position is designed for driving in town or through congested traffic to prevent frequent changes of gear. D4 is designed for normal cruising conditions. If an owner feels the transmission isn't performing as it should, make sure he's familiar with the automatic gearbox controls and operating section of the vehicle handbook. A short road test will confirm if the transmission is changing gear at the correct speeds. There's a table of shift speeds in the repair manual. If they're out of tolerance, check the adjustment of both the throttle and kickdown cables. Now, a quick reminder of some of the important technical bulletin items issued recently. First, sunroof water ingress on Rover 200s. Information in Bulletin 181, Item 1 backs up previous details, and don't forget the article in Service News 5, which went through the whole rectification procedure. Passenger door mirrors on Metro. New mirrors were introduced at VIN 579126 to improve ease of adjustment. See Bulletin 183, Item 5 for more details. Do you find it difficult to remove the alloy wheels from Rover 825 models? Bulletin 184, Item 7 recommends the use of lithium-based grease on the wheel spigot bore before refitting. Same bulletin, Item 8. Wind noise through the sunroof on Rover 800 models. Make sure the sunroof's properly adjusted and refer to Bulletin 160, Item 969 for more information. Malfunction of the radio, speakers, trip computer or vehicle map on Rover 800 models may be due to trapped or damaged wiring in the center console area. This can be rectified by taping harness sections with PVC adhesive and fitting protection sleeves to harness branches. See Bulletin 184, Item 10 for more details. Finally, a new, more powerful infrared key for Rover 800 models has been introduced from VIN 160141. Bulletin 184, Item 11 gives you all the information.
Now on to our featured article for this programme. Training. What kind of thoughts go through your mind when you hear that word? Do you think, brilliant, a chance to really get to grips with something new? Or is it just a case of, oh no, not another course I really don't need? For a long time now, you've been hearing about why training is important, why you should attend courses, enroll on correspondence courses, or watch Service Insight videos. Most of you, at some stage during your career with Austin Rover, will have undertaken some form of training. The question is, do you feel you've gained from it? Has it helped you to do your job better? Do you feel more confident doing repair operations? These are the kind of questions that Austin Rover's Product Training College at Cowley considers when developing new courses. But first things first, who are the people at Product Training College? What are they doing to help you? Ralph True is Manager of Technical Services. We asked him if all this training is really necessary. Cars have been made for many years, and hasn't the experienced technician seen enough by now to manage?
I think there's a number of reasons, three main ones. First of all, from the point of view of customer satisfaction and customer care. This year Austin Rover, as you probably know, is embarking on a very extensive customer care programme, and one of the elements of that is training. Obviously, if you don't train the technicians properly and they can't fix the vehicles first time round, you get customer dissatisfaction. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if we look at what the customers say of our vehicles, we find that although we're getting better, there's still some way to go in the ability to diagnose right first time and to give them the satisfaction levels that customers these days expect. And the third thing, I think perhaps most important of all, is the extent of change that we've seen in the past 5 years, particularly so far as electronics is concerned. Everybody benefits from training. The customer, obviously, is the most important one in this connection, in that if they get the car fixed quickly and efficiently, it's an issue which is of little regard to them in most cases. Secondly, the technician benefits because he's got the knowledge and the ability to give the sort of service that he's happy with. It gives them the ability to have pride in what he actually does. And it helps the dealer from the point of view of reputation, from the point of view of image, and from the most important one, perhaps profitability and future business success.
Mark Rolfe is the manager of Product Training College. Why does he think that training is so important?
Well, training is important. Courses are developed to suit all levels of technician, from the trainee to the very skilled technician. And the benefits that they gain from coming on courses should be seen by the network themselves. It enables a person to come here to learn all the latest information and to go away and undertake repairs which should give them complete customer satisfaction.
So how do you answer those who say that training is expensive in terms of lost revenue from the dealership?
I don't agree, because the skills gained far outweigh the loss of 2 days' revenue. The benefits that the network will gain from having a technician who comes back and can undertake repairs and get them right first time.
So that's the view of things from Product Training College. But what about the other side of the fence, the men who actually send people on training courses? Clive Cox is the Assistant Service Manager of Hartwell's Garage in Cowley, Oxford.
So why do you think training is so important?
Well, I feel it gives the staff, mainly mechanics an insight to the product. Also, it helps us at the end of the day when it comes to rectification work in making sure that we get it right first time, which makes sure that the customer's happy at the end of the day. And I feel that's the most important thing.
Well, we've heard what the men at the top have to say about training. But what about the technicians who actually do the work? What do they think of training courses? We caught up with a few students during their coffee break to ask how it was all going.
So what's the course that you're on at the moment?
Rover chassis, 800 chassis.
And are you learning a lot from the course?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think training in general is important?
Yes.
And why is that?
It gets you familiar with the vehicles which you work on when you get back into the workshop.
What course are you currently attending?
It's the petrol injection course for the 25827.
And is the course teaching you a lot?
Well, we're in the early days yet. It's a little bit hard going, I think, but because it's quite an extensive course, 3-day course.
Is it what you expected? Is the content what you wanted to know?
Oh yes, I have an idea. I've been on petrol injection courses before, and it's all new thinking. It's a complete breakaway from the existing type of thought on this with the Japanese engineering. And obviously we have to go on these courses to re-educate ourselves.
So what course are you doing at the moment then?
I'm doing the Rover chassis 800 system.
And what kind of things have you been doing this morning?
We've been going through the steering rack, ABS braking systems and conventional braking systems on the Rover 800 series.
Did you know anything about this before you came, or do you feel you've learnt a lot?
We've gone through a lot of detail, yes, and I should say yes, I've definitely learned something to get stuck into and get back to work.
Have you been on any other courses at product training before?
Yes, 800 electrics, VM diesels and Metro Turbo.
And they've helped you do it during your work back at the dealership?
So we've heard opinions on training from across the spectrum. The one thing that everyone's agreed upon is that training keeps you up to date with all the latest developments in Austin Rover technology. This not only helps you in your work, but just as importantly provides a vital role in ensuring customer satisfaction. The introduction of the new Act of Parliament affecting product liability means that your skills and product knowledge are very much at the forefront of dealer operations. The message is, keep yourselves informed and keep your customers happy. Now to end on a high note. In the last edition of Service News, we told you about the Young Mechanic of the Year award, won last year by Andrew Delaney of Thomas Startin Limited in Birmingham. In February this year, Andrew went to Sydney, Australia, to represent the UK in the automobile mechanic category of the International Youth Skills Olympics. The bad news is that the weather was apparently awful. The good news is that Andrew returned to the UK with a gold medal, the first gold the UK has won in the automobile mechanic category since the Skills Olympics were first held in 1950. Andrew was competing against the best young mechanics in the world, from West Germany, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, ERA, South Korea and the USA. The contest was judged over 4 days, and the tasks included a full gearbox strip and rebuild, electrical problems, engine diagnosis and repair, anti-lock braking systems and diesel engine management. Before he actually arrived in Australia, Andrew went through an extensive training program devised by the Road Transport Industry Training Board to give him the best possible chance of winning. All their efforts were justified. Success for Andrew, Thomas Startin Limited and Austin Rover. Congratulations from Service News to all those concerned. And that rounds up this edition of Service News. We'll see you again next time.